So anybody has anything to share, maybe, just to get it going? It doesn't really necessarily have to be with like an academic thing. Anything that they want to share. Maybe somebody's birthday, anything. So how many of you are like outside of the valley right now? Anybody like
So,
yeah,
I, so I'm out of value too.
okay. Okay. So again, like I'm taking like several of these classes, right? With to like several batches. So I don't know like if I've asked this question already. Sometimes that happens, like I think like last time Safal, I think I was asking the same question, I guess, to him that I asked like
Yeah.
during the class. That made me realize, okay, yeah, I could repeat a few things. So
Yes, sir. Sometimes it happens.
yeah. So how's life there? Like where are you right now?
So I'm in my hometown called Abu Khairani.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, so everything here is like not normal.
Okay.
If I see my home, if I see these highway roads from my home,
Okay.
it feels like I'm in a movie. I'm in a movie of Walking Dead.
Ah, so like pretty much like all like deserted, I
Yes,
guess. Okay.
there's no one, literally no one.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Yeah, I realized that it's pretty. When I went to the roof like of my house this morning, everything
Yes.
was like so clear. Like I could see like the trees over the hills, right? So it was so
Yes,
so
sir.
so clean. So I assume like it's pretty much same over there.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
I think there's no much pollution in Kathmandu, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing, despite this
Yes, sir.
you know bad circumstance. So the air
Yeah,
feels pretty clean.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the noise too, sir. Noise
yeah,
have been
definitely.
controlled too. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. We have like I think like I have actually in my locality like two like factories here. Like I mean not the big factories, but they basically deals with like a metals, and one deals with
Yeah.
like a carpentry, and they make a lot of noise. So at least I don't have to deal with that right now. So it's a
Oh,
good thing. Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
big relief for you, sir, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Otherwise, like being like like subjected to that and being at like limited to like my place would be like pretty horrible, I guess.
Uh,
uh, all right, so we have I think like 14 or 15 students, so maybe like we will wait for 1 or 2 minutes. So basically in today's class we're gonna cover academic speaking. Okay, like few tips on that, like what it is and so on. And in the latter half, what I was thinking is maybe doing some activity, like a fun activity. I don't know if that will be possible in this online scenario, but let's see. Okay, so it'll be like a good activity to get to know yourself as well as get to know your friends. So that's what I was thinking about. So let me see. All right, so let's. I think it's 9 a.m. now, so we can start with today's session. Okay. So you guys can see the shared screen, right? The PowerPoint slides.
sir.
All right. So let's
Yes,
proceed.
sir.
All right.
Okay, sir.
So in today's session, the first topic we're going to cover is academic speaking. Okay. So it is, I think, pretty important that you are able to give academic presentation. Okay. So that will be applicable to you in this course. Okay, as well as in other courses as well. I assume that for many of your courses, you have to give what is called viva or oral examination, right? You have to give like some kind of presentation. So if you are better in academic speaking, so that would reflect on your grade, all right? That's the good thing for you, as well as when you start your professional life. That means when you graduate from college, all right, and when you start working, that will kind of like come to use as well. All right, so let's proceed. Okay, so here's a saying by the American writer Ralph Waldo Emerson. Okay, all the great speakers were bad speakers at first. Okay, that should give you guys some encouragement. Okay, so if you guys feel like, okay, I'm not a good speaker. Okay, I know I really dread even like going before the like in front of the class and so on. So it's okay. Okay, we all feel that. We all feel that fear of public speaking. Okay, so you're not alone. So that should give some encouragement to you guys. Okay, in proceeding in your like maybe like getting better in your uh, academics like speaking or public speaking in general. All right. Okay. So why academic speaking? So why you should be interested in that? As I mentioned, it is applicable in your academics as well. So in this course, I think if I'm not mistaken, there will be like a midterm. Again, like it's kind of like a little different situation right now because you guys are not like taking like a like traditional classes. You guys are in like online classes. So I don't know if it will be possible or if we could maybe like have like a live presentation of some. Okay. So academic speaking will be useful to you. Okay. And also for definitely for this course, because I was one of like the teachers in the student viva. Okay. For the same course, I was grading the students a presentation. So for your intercultural communication course, you will have to give your final viva. And definitely that's last time it was like I think like each student spoke for around 8 to 10 minutes. Okay. So on a topic, on a given topic. So you should be able to do that. And so that's why academic speaking is applicable to you and you should be interested in that. Okay. So another reason why you should be interested in academic speaking is it supports your ability to express your ideas and thoughts effectively. Okay. So you may have something in your head. Okay. But are you able to effectively express it? Okay, if you are, okay, then that would help you in your life, not only in academic situation, but in your personal and professional life as well. Okay, so it is important being able to express your thoughts and emotions. That's a very like a good, I would say, quality in a person. Okay, another reason is it helps to basically establish confidence in you. Okay, so in your class, like you have like a bunch of students. Okay, normally like students who are pretty vocal or pretty open in expressing their like ideas, thoughts, and emotions, they would be seen more confident when compared to other students. Okay, so if you basically if you take time and become better in speaking, academic speaking or formal like public speaking, that could basically instill confidence in you. Okay, so you should be interested in learning more about it or getting better in this. All right, and also the last point I'll mention over here, it supports or to build up good leadership skills. Okay, so someone who is pretty good in public speaking, okay, that's one of the traits or qualities of a good leader. Okay, somebody, again, we come to the previous point, who is able to express his or her ideas, opinions, all right? So that person would be kind of like, it would be good leadership skill. All right. So there may be other points why academic speaking is important, but these are the few points that would kind of like emphasize public speaking and be better in that. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so let's look at some of the attributes or qualities of good presentation skills. All right. So if you are able to express whatever is in your head, okay, you may have like an idea, a very great idea. Okay. So if you are able to express your idea, okay, so let's uh, uh, please mute the whoever just came ladder. Maybe that person can mute. All right. Okay, so as I was mentioning, you may have a very great idea in your head. Okay, so let's think that idea has like features like shape, size, like colors, and all that. Okay, all these dimensions. So if you are able to express your idea succinctly or clearly to the other person, so you're communicating with other people, and whatever is in your mind, if you can, let's say, scan that idea. I'm using a technical term here. Okay, just like a scanner would scan something. Okay, if in 3D, let's say, if you are able to do that and portray that thing, your idea, into somebody else's mind. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so if you're able to communicate clearly, that would be a good attribute or feature of a good presentation skill. So normally when you listen to, let's say, presentation in YouTube, like a TED Talks, okay, so when you listen to those speakers, okay, whatever those speakers are basically conveying, those ideas, in a sense, like you would see, you would visualize that thing in your mind. Okay, so that would be a good like a quality of a speaker. All right, so if you're able to do that. So another attribute would be the use of body language. Okay, so we'll come to, I think like one of the slides have that percentages broken down. Okay, in your communication, like what percentage is like contributed by your vocal words. Okay, your words. What percentage is contributed by your body language, and so on. Okay, well, I think like the next slide or the slide after that will be that will give you that information. But just know that a good communication, good presentation has the right body language as well. Okay, so it's not that you're just standing or sitting at one place. Okay, so your body language should actually emphasize whatever the message you are trying to convey. All right, so including eye contact. Okay, so one of the things that can be readily noticed in beginner speakers is they don't really give eye contact. Okay, so they basically stare at one place or look down, okay, while giving presentation. Okay, so that's not a good sign of a good presentation skill. Okay, so that doesn't mean that you have to really stare at like everyone in the audience. Okay, that would be kind of like a little odd. Just give a good eye contact. Okay, if you feel like kind of like nervous in focusing at the same at like one like a person or one place the entirety of your presentation, just move your your eye contact from person to person. I think that would be a good advice for you. All right. So right body language, good eye contact. That's also a feature of a good presentation skill. All right. Another would be the language articulation, or how you express words. Okay. So the same sentence, okay, in English, the same sentence when like depending on which word you emphasize can give different meaning. Okay. So that's what is meant by paraverbal. Okay, we have a nonverbal, which is like your body language. Okay, we have paraverbal about how you speak words. All right. Okay, so that's what it means, and that also has a significant difference. Like it can impact, it can make a significant impact on how, like basically, the message that you're trying to convey. Okay, so how you say it also matters. Another point is persuasiveness. Okay, that means, are you able to convince your audience? Okay, so for your presentation, you should have an objective. Okay, that objective could be anything, like especially for your academic presentation, your objective would be basically make your audience understand about the topic that you are presenting on. Okay, later on, let's say if you start working or in your professional life, that could be something else. Okay, let's say you guys are now IT students now. So let's say going forward, you make some kind of website, let's say similar to Facebook, okay? And you have to basically have more people sign up to your website. So if you give your presentation, let's say your objective is having people sign up for your website, okay? So if your presentation, at the end of the presentation, if you are able to convince your audiences to basically come to your website and sign up for your website, then that would be the success for your presentation. Okay, so a good presentation is persuasive as well. Okay, so normally what I'd say is think about your presentation is as if like you're trying to sell something. Okay, so you have this imaginary product that you have. Okay, that product is basically whatever the topic that you're assigned to, and you are trying to sell that imaginary thing to your audience. How effectively can you deliver your message so your audience will be moved or convinced in basically getting that thing from you? All right, so you can use like a right words, right body language, and right like language articulation, and so on. Right, even like use of silence in your presentation. uh, you can use silence as a tool to convince your audience, okay, to make your presentation more effective. Okay, I assume like you guys have heard like many professional like presentation or speeches. Okay, in those presentations, the presenters use silence to emphasize whatever the point they're trying to make. Okay, and oftentimes you'll see that the audiences will like applaud or like clap. Okay, that's also a good use like to put the silence over there as well. Okay, so for your academic presentation or class presentation, you can definitely use silence to emphasize on whatever the point you're covering. All right. So another point over here is the use of examples. All right. So examples are pretty helpful in relating to whatever you want to deliver, you want to convey. Okay. So basically, examples helps us to relate to our audience, connect. In other words, connect to our audience. Okay. So you have like an idea or thought. Okay. So you use words as the means to basically express those ideas or thoughts. Okay. So if you could maybe use examples in your words. Okay. So that would be like painting a picture to your audience. Okay. Rather than like a simple words going to audience's ears. Okay. If you can use examples, your audiences will actually in their visual mind, okay, see whatever you are telling them. All right, rather than mere words, give examples. Okay, and if you're good at storytelling also helps in connecting with your audience. Okay, it's very important for a successful presentation, that connection that you can make. If you're able to make connection with your audience, okay, that's a successful sign of good presentation. Okay, where audiences feel like at the end of the presentation they feel moved by whatever you're saying. Okay, if you want to persuade, they feel persuaded in whatever your objective was. Right, so that connection, it's also called rapport. Okay, it's called rapport, the sense of connection, okay, in a relationship. So in a sense, like you are connecting with your audience. Okay, so that is important. So another point over here for good presentation skill is audience feedback. All right. So normally when we think about giving presentation, we think like it's like a one-way street. Okay. So things are just going from you towards like it's like broadcasting to your audience. But in a presentation, okay, you're also taking feedbacks from your audience. Okay, seeing like okay, what points are like made the big impact to your audience. Okay, maybe when you look at your audience, okay, you get a good like eye contact, or through the audience body language, they're expressing something. Okay, are the audience like giving attention to you, or are they bored? Okay, are they looking like elsewhere than looking at you? Okay, so you're trying to get all this feedback from the audience as well. Okay, that's why eye contact is important. Otherwise, if you just look down and give your presentation, you would have no idea what the audience members will be thinking. All right. Okay, so the next point is positive attitude towards audience. Okay, that is very important. Okay, your attitude towards the audience will be reflected in your presentation. Right, so always think that you are trying to benefit your audience. You have something that can benefit your audience. If you have the attitude like that, then you will basically make your presentation successful. All right. Okay, let me mute you guys for now. All right. Okay, so you get the idea, right? You are trying to see how you can benefit your audience. Okay, it could be that you have some information, okay, and you feel that information will be helpful to your audience. Okay, if you have the attitude like that. Okay, it's not just like a I mentioned, like I gave you one example about you trying to sell something earlier. Okay, even if your objective or motive was selling something to your audience, if you feel like, okay, delivering this idea or this message to the audience will be helpful to them, if your attitude is like that, okay, then your presentation will reflect that. Okay, your audience members will be able to see that. Okay, that's why a successful presentation is the one where audience members feel like they got something out of that. Okay, they benefited something out of that. All right. Okay, the last point here in the screen is structured presentation. Okay, and having that structure in your presentation is very important. Okay, not only for the audience, like from the audience point of view, it will kind of like it's as if like your presentation has been broken down into several segments. Okay, if it's a long segment, just think about like you guys reading. Okay, if one paragraph is like whole page long, okay, I think like it'll be kind of boring to read that whatever that you're reading. Okay. Okay, so do not mute me, okay? All right, just listen to me. Okay, so as I was mentioning, okay, it's kind of like it would be kind of tedious to read a long paragraph, okay? But if that paragraph is broken down into like a smaller segments or shorter segments, okay, it'll be kind of easy to read, okay? In the same way, if your presentation has segments, okay, structured segments, okay, that will help your audience to follow you, okay? Otherwise, your audience members may get bored listening to you, all right? Okay. All right, and also it is beneficial for you as well. Okay, especially let's say you have to give let's say 10-minute presentation. Okay, you have a lot many words to express. All right. However, if your presentation is well structured, that means you have different segments, like based on different points that you want to cover. Okay, so if you practice like that, then it'll be easy for you to remember your presentation as well. Okay, so for your presentation, you don't necessarily need to memorize every single word. Okay, if you basically try to like learn different ideas that you want to express in your presentation, oftentimes you can elaborate on it. Okay, elaborate on the idea using your own words. All right, so for the beginner speakers, okay, trying to memorize a long speech, that can be kind of like nerve-wracking. All right, you may forget some words and panic in the middle of your presentation. So try to break down your presentation into segments based on whatever ideas that break down the big idea into small ideas. Okay, and arrange your presentation in structured segments based on those mini ideas. Okay, So later on, when you're giving your presentation, or even when you're practicing, it's easy, okay, to deliver your presentation. So these are some of the attributes, okay, of a good presentation skills, right? So, and up to now, anybody has any question? By the way, I heard like somebody like banging on their keyboard.
Sir, when we have to give our presentation,
Yes, yes. Okay, don't unmute. I mean, mute me. Okay. I mean, whoever's doing that. Okay. So your question was when you have to give your presentation.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think definitely for this course, for your intercultural communication course, you will have your final viva. Okay. At that time, we have not really decided. Last time, each student I think gave present. I think their individual presentation was around like 8 minutes long. Okay, 8 to 10 minutes long. So that's the final viva. That's definitely you guys will be giving. But also for this semester, I think we might have made like few changes. But again, due to this pandemic situation, since we're not in like college, okay, I don't know like if we're gonna proceed with the any presentation in the middle of your semester. Okay, so definitely you'll have your final presentation, but I'm not really sure about the present like class presentation. Okay, so does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right. Okay. So let's move forward. Okay. So according to a research, okay, done on communication, okay, so uh, they basically broke down uh, your communication into different like attributes. Okay. So according to this pie chart, as you can see, only about 2% is attributed to the to your spoken words. Okay, so you have a message. Okay, so only 2% of that is attributed to communication, to you expressing those words. Okay, a vast majority of that is attributed to your body language. Okay, so how your body is like a your body, depending on your body language, the same message may have like different meanings. All right, so it's attributed to almost like it's 58% here. Okay, so that's why your body language is very important. Okay, so if you're giving your presentation, you may want to like like appear more confident in giving your presentation. All right, with eye contact and so on. All right, the next 40% is tone of voice, is how you say it. As I mentioned about paraverbal, okay? So the body language is like nonverbal, and the tone of your voice, how you say it, it's like 40%. So only like 2% is attributed to the spoken words, okay? So this chart should give you a good idea about the importance of your body language and how you say it, all right? And that's why I think practice is pretty important on your presentation. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so in this slide, you have like same sentence, okay, but you put like stress on different words in the sentence. Okay, so the sentence basically has like I don't know, Pooja will come to the party. Will come to the party. Okay, so that's a sentence. Okay, but depending on where you put the stress, it may give you different interpretation of that sentence. Okay, for example, let me read it. I don't think Pooja will come to the party. Okay, the meaning could be I don't think that, but someone else might, but you may. Okay, but I don't. Okay, let's put stress on the word, the auxiliary verb here, don't. I don't think Pooja will come to the party. Okay, that means I absolutely don't think that. Okay, I'm pretty sure and confident that Pooja will not come to the party. Okay, so let's put stress on the next word, think. Okay, I don't think Pooja will come to the party. Okay, that means I'm confident in her not coming. Okay, I kind of like I have good idea about her not coming. Next is, I don't think, let me read the next sentence. I don't think Pooja will come to the party. So Pooja will not come to the party, okay, but other friends will, right? So this is just to express that the paraverbal aspect, okay, the tone of your voice, how you say it, okay. So the same sentence, different meaning or different interpretation based on the how you say it, okay. So anybody has an example, maybe experience they want to share on this, like the tone of voice? If you have anything to share, I would like to hear that. Now, give me a break to drink some water. Okay, so if not, let's move on. Okay, so let's look at how to give a good presentation. Okay, so if you are taking notes, you can definitely do that. Otherwise, the slides will be available to you as well. Okay, so very important. Okay, if you listen to some of those TED Talk participants, okay, so you'll hear them like tell that they practice for like a month at ends, okay, for maybe like a week. So practice is very important. Okay, don't take your presentation, any presentation, very lightly. Okay, because in my last course, some of the students, it was very clear that students did not practice. Okay, so if you don't practice, your presentation will not be that effective. So definitely practice on it. Okay, you should know your presentation by heart. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you like memorize every single word in your presentation. I don't mean that. Okay, but you should know every single idea that you are trying to express in your presentation. That should be very clear to you. The words that you use, okay, you can memorize it or not. If you have a good memory, very good memory, then you may be able to memorize it. But for many students, that may not be possible. That they may fear that, okay, I might forget this word. Okay, what if you forget a word? Okay, during presentation, definitely you will panic. So at least know your presentation by heart. Whatever is your presentation on, break it down. As I mentioned, structure your presentation, okay, into many parts and know your presentation by heart. Okay, another suggestion here is practice on your body language, including eye contact. Okay, so for this one, what you can do is stand in front of a mirror, okay, and deliver your presentation. Okay, for eye contact, maybe you can move your head left to right, okay, as if you are looking at, like look at different objects in your room. Okay, all right, so at least it would be easy for you guys to look at an object rather than like a person. Okay, so if you're someone who feels kind of nervous in giving eye contact, I think like it will definitely be easier for you to look at objects, okay, and just pretend that that object is, just imagine like a person while you are practicing your presentation. So definitely practice on like a looking confident, your body postures, okay. If you're moving your hands, like with sync, like as you speak, look at that, okay, and try to make it more effective. All right, so look and sound more confident. And the next is language articulation, okay, including the use of silence. So as I mentioned, it's the paraverbal part of your communication, okay, how you say it. Okay, for this one, what I advise students to do is these days pretty much every students have like smartphones with them, right? So use smartphones to record your voice. Okay, or if you have like some kind of video recorder, use that to record your presentation as you practice. Okay, and later on when you're done, review it. Okay, listen to the words as you say them. Okay, sentences, like how whatever you want to like convey. Did your language articulation, is there like a correlation between that? Okay, or you want to say something but you said something differently. Okay, the words may be the same again, but how you say it can make a big difference. If that's so, then practice on language articulation. Okay, and also practice on silence. Okay, oftentimes, like it's been my experience as well as I've seen in class presentation. Okay, so when students get nervous, what happens is their voice, the frequency increases. Okay, it becomes like a squeaky sound. All right, like you hear a person like in their normal communication when you're talking to them like one to one, versus like a person, the same person giving presentation in front of the class, is as if like there's like different voice coming out of the same mouth. Okay, so definitely practice on that. Okay, and also practice on silences. When you are done expressing a sentence or an idea, give a brief pause for the audience members to basically digest whatever you have mentioned. Okay, don't just like don't be too fast to move on to the next idea and so on. Okay, gives your audience some like a brief pause to basically get into their like a whatever ideas you have expressed, let the audience chew on that for a brief while. Okay, all right. So the next practice would be on your persuasion. Okay, how can you persuade your audience member in whatever you're trying to tell them? Okay, or if you're trying to sell them something, how can you make your presentation more effective? So at the end of your presentation, audience members will be moved in whatever you want them to do. Okay, if it's like, for example, I mentioned previously, if it's like signing up for your website that you created, at the end of the presentation, the audience member should be moved in doing so. Okay, so practice on making your presentation more persuasive. Okay, think as if you're trying to sell something to your audience. Again, when you're trying to sell, when in your presentation, when you're trying to like, when you're using that, that tactic to sell something, don't come outright as if like you're trying to sell it. Okay, that would be kind of like you may appear very like a push, like a what's the word? Like you don't want to like appear as if like you are like a uh, you know okay, just have the attitude of benefiting the audience. Okay, and that might help you in basically persuading your audience or trying like whatever you're trying to get the audience to do. Okay, so definitely practice on that. Okay, another point here, practice on creating a relatable storyline with examples that I mentioned before. Examples are very important in presentation. Examples create pictures in audience's mind, that visual pictures, whatever you had in your mind. Okay, you want that same idea, that idea to be transplanted into your audience members' minds. Okay, so practice on that. Okay, storyline. If you're a good storyteller, that'll be very helpful to you. Okay, or just use examples. Whatever examples you can find, okay, you can think of, use them to break down your ideas. So your audience members it will be very easy for your audience member to get whatever you're trying to basically convey. Okay. Okay. So the next point over here is practice on getting visual and audible feedback from audience. I mentioned like getting feedback from your audience is important as well. Okay, so see like if you can like maybe like by looking at your audience, okay, see if they're really paying attention. If not, then maybe you can try something, maybe use some example, or maybe you can use humor as well. But be careful when you're using humor. Okay, you're not there and like you're not a stand-up comedian. Okay, so humor is not your priority. All right. However, okay, if you for light like maybe like light humor, that's acceptable. Okay, even to get your audience's attention. Okay, if you feel like your audience members may not be maybe whatever you're trying to tell your audience, the audience members are not getting it, then maybe humor can be used, light humor as well. Okay, see how you can make your presentation effective. Okay, so you can get back your audience members' attention. Okay, so the last point here, and again, I mentioned already, is structure your material. Okay, it's very important that you kind of like a plan it such that there will be like a short pauses in between your ideas. Okay, you don't want your presentation to be of like a big idea, like a like a chunk of idea, where audience members may get confused about which one, like at the end of the day, like you don't want to confuse your audience members. So it's a lot better to break down your ideas into small pieces. So it'll be easy for your audience members to basically digest on whatever you're trying to convey. So definitely work on that. And I think like when we will be practicing on the presentation, I think one of the things would be introduction, like a body of your presentation, conclusion, and so on. That's like a broad, like a segmentation of your presentation. What I mean, structure your presentation here, even like in your body of your presentation, you want to like break down the body of your presentation into small segments, so it'll be easy for your audience members to get whatever you're trying to say, as well as for you to basically like express or present your like speech or whatever you're trying to present. Okay, so these are some of the suggestions for you guys about how to give a good presentation skills. Okay, so definitely you can work on your body language, your language, and your language articulation and so on. All right. So anybody else? Anybody want to share their experience? So Bipson. Kiran Kumari. It's pretty much, it's all quiet right now. So anybody like
So when I was practicing for IELTS exam, I did all
okay,
these things like I speak in front of mirror, and I did maintain our body language.
okay, all right, that's good to know. So anybody else has some experience in some of these skills, maybe? So don't feel hesitant, okay? You guys are friends in your class, okay? And I think like we've already, like taken like like we've already met. So there's no need to feel any kind of nervousness, anything like that. So be feel free to express your, you know, your experience. Or maybe like you have some other suggestion, maybe. Could be. Okay, anyone? Srijana Tamang, are you on this call?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have anything to share regarding like presentation skills?
I used to practice in my school days.
Okay,
Chal
all
So,
right.
Jhutti.
what duty? I'm
Let,
not.
let her speak. That's fine. Don't disturb others, like someone who is giving like their feedback. Okay. So you used to give like a practice like that in your school. Okay. So what
Yes.
aspect did you find more effective, and what do you suggest your friends to maybe focus on more? Okay.
At first, I used to write essay
Uh-huh.
and then practice that.
Okay, so you pretty much like it seems like you write down your speech or your presentation speech, right?
Yes,
Your
sir.
material, and then you practice on that. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, that could be a good suggestion to your friends. Okay. So one extra thing that I can give you is beside that, again, normally when we write essay, what like I've seen like students when students write essay, they tend to write like a long paragraphs. Okay. So if that's something that you are used to doing, then for your presentation, okay, make it more suitable for like verbal communication. Okay, in verbal communication, you don't want your basically your like imagine like that your paragraph to go on and on. Okay, so maybe you want to like a segment your essay in a sense. You mentioned essay, so into like a small like a bite-sized chunks, right? That could be helpful. Anybody else? So we have Rihaj.
Chal, you won't talk, I sure.
Uh,
Yes.
okay, do you have anything to share?
Manoj view.
No, sir. Pretty much the same.
Okay, so like, can you tell us maybe the last time you had to give a presentation?
Sir, he skipped the presentation. He was the
Uh,
lucky one from the class.
is
No,
that
he
so?
didn't.
Okay, so
No, he
I kind of like
didn't,
heard
sir.
like a lot of from your friends, but I want to hear from Rihaj.
Uh, mm,
Okay,
Basically, I presented what the slide had.
okay, so if
Slide what the slide contained.
okay, okay, so for which course was that?
Which
Like which course? I mean, like was this for your
as
like
in
academic?
Sir, computer architecture. Sir, computer architecture it was.
Okay, okay, okay. So that's fine. Thank you, Rihaz.
yes, sir.
Okay. So normally when you let's say you're giving your presentation and you have your slides made, okay, your PowerPoint slides or some other way. So normally if you just rely on your PowerPoint like material, what happens to the consequence would be that you may not be able to pay attention to your friends. Okay, so do not rely entirely on your supporting materials. Okay, so again, if you have done it and if you pay attention to your friends, to your audience members, that's good. But I have seen some students who actually have slides. There's like a whole bunch of words in the slides, and they constantly keep looking back at the slides. Okay, so that can make your presentation less effective. Okay, in connecting to your audience. Okay, you don't want to face like a you don't want to show your behind to your audience most of the time. Okay, that would be kind of disrespectful in a sense, right? So know your material, whatever you're presenting on. So if you have a slide, keep it like don't have like a whole bunch of words in there, right? So that's one suggestion for you. Anybody else? Okay, so if not, then let's move on to the next point. Okay, so the next point is about presentation nerve. It's a word, it's a term basically for, like when you get nervous during presentation, there are some symptoms here, okay? So there could be other symptoms as well, okay? So maybe some of us can relate to this, okay? Definitely I have felt some of this while giving a public speech or presentation, okay? So pounding heartbeat, okay? So you feel like your heart is trying to escape your chest, all right? That could be that bad, all right? Another symptom could be sweaty palms. You're sweating all over, all right? You don't have any control over, okay? Your friends would like basically it's a fear, okay, of public speaking, right? So that could manifest in these symptoms. Okay, another would be like your face going red, all right? And another symptom is you don't even realize it, but you're basically moving your like shaking your hands or your legs, okay, involuntarily. All right, you have no idea that you're moving it, or you may have like some vague like notion about it, but you feel like you're too helpless to take control of your own body. Okay, so another symptom here is stuttering speech. Okay, you don't feel that confident in speaking. All right. So as a result, you stutter. Okay. Otherwise, in a normal communication, when you're talking to someone, it would be kind of fine. Okay. But only when you're trying to give like a presentation before audience members, you feel this. Okay. Your voice basically stuttering. Another would be squeaky voice, like your voice frequency going high. All right. That's also one symptom. Another symptom here. And another symptom here is unable to face your audience. Lack of eye contact, not being able to look at your audience. And this is very common actually for our last, for another class, for the last presentation, there were several speakers who basically were looking down or we're not looking at the audience members. Okay, so definitely it's a lot prevalent or widespread. So again, like these are some of the symptoms, and if you feel like that, definitely like practicing more. Okay, practicing on your presentation. Again, one of the reason why students normally face like have this presentation nerve is the main reason is not having like enough practice. Okay, they feel that okay, they've written something. Okay, they write their like a presentation. They maybe practice like few times. Okay, and they come to the class to give their presentation. Okay, and as a result, somewhere along the presentation, they forget words. Okay, as a sense like their mind goes blank. All right, and they become more nervous. All right, and they try to like fill in the gaps with anything. All right, so if that's the case, then definitely practice on your presentation. Okay, you should know your material by heart. Okay, so again, public speaking, very widespread. Okay, so if you have this fear of public speaking, then just remember that you're not alone. Okay, and the good thing is with practice, you can overcome this fear. Okay, so as I mentioned, as we saw in the one of the first slides, pretty much everyone. Okay, the slide, the picture said, we all were, or even the good presenters were bad presenters at one time in their life, right? Before. So take that as an inspirational quote. So let's change the slide. Okay, so here's some few tips for you. If you feel like, okay, I've been there, you know, when you read those symptoms, if you relate it to if those symptoms relate to you, then here are some helpful tips for you. Okay, the first tip is use positive visualization. Okay, so just sit down. Okay, close your eyes. Okay, and just imagine yourself giving a good presentation. All right, it need not be perfect. Okay, so don't try to give a perfect presentation. Okay, so just think that perfection doesn't exist. Okay, because along the way we will make some mistakes. Okay, so it's not a big deal. However, try to visualize a positive, like you basically giving a presentation and not basically succumbing to any of those things mentioned in the previous slide. Okay, so good visualization can definitely help you, because if we just worry about giving speech, okay, you have not really, just think about it. You have your presentation next week, okay, and now you're worrying about it, about something that might happen in the future, okay, that has not happened, okay, so you're just imagining what could have gone wrong. So instead of negatively imagining on something that might go wrong next week, just have a positive visualization. Think like, okay, in the presentation, okay, just I'll basically do good and so on. So that might help many of you guys. Okay, so positive visualization. Another tip would be just remember that your audience members are not there to basically laugh at you. Okay, you might find like few people, like especially in like classroom situation, some students might laugh, but that's not a big deal. Okay, for the most part, your friends are there to basically, in a sense, help you. Okay, they're sympathetic of you, because in a sense, like they also will be going through the same thing. If it's the class presentation, pretty much everyone will be giving the presentation. It's just a matter of time. Okay, so I assume you guys could relate to each other and be more sympathetic to each other. So have that attitude in you. Okay, the audience members are not there to criticize you, to laugh at you, or things like that. They're there to basically listen to whatever you have to say, and they are sympathetic to you. Okay, even if you make a mistake, no big deal. Okay, all right. So the next tip would be deep breathing. That would help you to calm your nerve, to relax your senses. Okay, when I say deep breathing, it's breathing from your stomach. Okay, so normally when we get nervous, we do like very shallow breathing. All right, so practice deep breathing. Okay, breathe with your diaphragm. That would help you like keep your nerves calm even during your presentation. If you feel that okay, you're kind of like a panicking, just try to consciously breathe. Okay, just Just feel yourself breathing deeply. Okay, that might help you connect with your what is happening. All right, your material that you're giving, and so on. Okay, the next tip would be smile. Okay, the smile doesn't mean that you have to laugh at your audience. Okay, because that would be kind of that would be a sign of nervousness. Okay, so one of the symptoms, another symptoms that I think I did not mention in the previous slide, is some people when they get nervous they tend to laugh. Okay, however, when I say smile here, it's not that like that. It's a subtle smile. Okay, so when you like face your audience. Okay, so when you actually walk in front of your class for the first time, I mean for to give your presentation, just look at your audience and just like a subtle smile. Okay, that's what it means. That also shows that you are confident. So when the audience members look at you giving a subtle smile, they would feel okay, you are confident in your presentation, with your presentation. Okay. Next tip over here is exercise on your uh, voice, okay, and body language. As I mentioned, for body language, you either record yourself with a video camera or stand in front of a mirror. And for your voice, use like a voice recorder and see how you articulate words in your presentation. All right. So you may be giving your presentation in like a one tone. Okay. That presentation may not be that effective. Okay. If you could like vary your like vocal like your voice based on your material, you can convey your whatever you're trying to convey your idea more effectively. Okay, you don't want to sound like a machine. All right, you want to be more persuasive with the variation of your voice and so on. Okay. All right, so definitely when you're at it, like definitely work on your like eye contact, like on work on the pauses in between ideas in your presentation and so on. Okay, these are the tips for you. Okay, and know your presentation material. Okay, again, lack of practice is one of the main reasons why students get nervous in their presentation. Okay, so if you want to do good in whenever you have to present next time, know that it will require a lot more preparation from your side. Okay, your audience members, your class will only get to hear you for maybe 5, 8, 10 minutes, but there will be a lot of practice for you leading to that. Okay, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Okay, you practicing it every day. All right, and only you can expect a good presentation. All right. So anybody has any other suggestion, any tips for giving a good presentation? Bizaya Acharya? Banish? Animesh?
Sir,
Ajay? Yes.
we should not remain silent for too long.
Yes, definitely. That would be kind of like a, according to one, I was reading one article, I think, and it says like your silence should not be longer than 3 seconds. Okay? So maybe like when I'm in silence, I meant like a brief silence, like a brief pause. Uh, like when you listen to, when you look at like when you watch a TED Talks, you'll see that the speaker like giving a short pause, and then moving on to the next topic in the presentation. Right? That's what I meant. But definitely
Yeah.
long silence is not good. Okay, it could be sign of you getting nervous, forgetting whatever your material, and so on. All right, your audience members would be wondering like, why are you not speaking? Why are words not coming out of your mouth? Right? And consequently, it will make you even more nervous. Definitely. Anybody else?
Be confident with your presentation material, I think.
Okay, so that means prepare, right? Preparation.
Preparation.
Okay. All right. The more you prepare, the more confident you will not only sound, but look in your presentation as well. Okay. And I can tell you from the last presentation that students had to do for my other course. Okay. So there were some students who were very confident, who sounded very confident, who looked very confident. Actually, few of the students actually got the full score for the presentation. Okay, and there were a few students who didn't even look at me or students in the class. Okay, so definitely practice on it. Practice makes you, in a sense, it's a quote. Practice makes perfect. But we're not really, like a perfection. If you chase after perfection, uh, you know, even like one mistake may you may like magnify it. So don't look for perfection, okay? But definitely practice it. If you get close to perfection, that's good enough. All right. So if anybody else has any suggestion,
Sir, I
okay,
think we should enjoy our presentation.
definitely very good point here. If you
Just
don't
like it.
enjoy, okay, if you don't enjoy your presentation, your audience will sure not enjoy it. Okay? If you could translate that excitement, that enthusiasm in your presentation, it will help you connect with your audience members. Okay? All right, definitely very good point. Okay? Be actively involved in your presentation. Okay? So
Thank
when
you, sir.
all right, that's a very good point. Anybody else? Okay, so let's move on to the next point then. Okay, some further tips here. Okay? So don't try to cover too much material. Okay? So again, it would depend on your presentation limitation as well. So when we assign presentation to students in academic settings, we normally give you like a time, like a time limit, right? Let's say 4 minutes or 8 minutes, 10 minutes, like that. So when you're practicing it, okay, keep material to the time frame as provided to you, as given to you. Okay, don't go on and on. You don't want to like take time from other speakers. Okay, so let's say from my last experience where students had to give viva or oral presentation. Okay, so each student only had like about 8 to 10 minutes. So if a student had taken too long, maybe like went on speaking for let's say 15 minutes, okay, we would not have enough time for other students. Okay, so be mindful of others and keep your material of the length that is provided to you. Okay, and also don't try to cover too much in your material. So if you're given a topic, you can find a whole lot of things to cover under that topic. Okay, but try to make it more like relevant and more precise and concise based on the limitation for your presentation. Okay, so don't try to impress your audience members by having like too much information. Sometimes having too much is not that good. Okay, choose whatever is important, applicable, and focus on that. So another tip here: actively engage with the audience. So I think like it was mentioned to basically enjoy your speech. Okay, so that's one of the ways to actively engaging with the audience. Okay, giving eye contact is an actively engaging with the audience. Maybe giving like a subtle smile is actively engaging with the audience. So your audience members will feel connected with you during your presentation. Okay, you don't want to appear that detached with your audience. Okay, if you do, then you will not be that persuasive in your presentation. As a result, whatever you're trying to say, your audience member will basically, the words will enter their ear. Maybe for some speakers, it will enter into their short-term memory, and after a few seconds, there will be nothing for that presentation. Okay, but if you actively engage with your audience, if your audience members enjoy your presentation, then there's a more probability that your audience will remember your whatever your ideas or your presentation. So engage with your audience members and be entertaining. The same point. All right. Or in other words, don't be boring. Okay. Again, like how you say it makes a difference. Okay. So vary your speech, your voice in your presentation. Don't be in like a one monotone. That'd be very boring presentation. Okay, another thing is like again, points mentioned here. Admit you don't have all the answers. Okay, so don't have that. Like it's okay if you don't know certain things, but try to segment your speech, your presentation, based on what you have, what information you have, or based on your research. Okay. So normally at the end of a speech, normally it's a customary thing for the presenter to ask if the audience members have any question. So definitely this would apply to that. So if you ask any question from the audience member, and if they ask you some question for which you don't know the answer, but it's okay. Rather than being nervous, it's okay to admit you don't have an answer to that, and maybe you can maybe follow up on that with your further research. Okay, so don't make these things make you nervous. It's okay not knowing. Okay, all right. Another is the use of power stance. Okay, again, this comes under body language. Okay, to appearing more confident. All right. Okay, so practice on that as well. So hydrate definitely helps. Okay, if you are dehydrated, your mind will not be able to function properly. Okay, so when you're giving presentation, don't drink too much water though. Okay, it might make you feel uncomfortable as well, but at least don't be dehydrated. Yeah, that's one of the tips there. And I don't know if you've heard about Toastmasters. Okay, so I was researching, and actually in Kathmandu there's like many Toastmasters conventions here, or it's like a event, Toastmasters events, where people can meet and actually practice on their public speaking. Okay, I assume like some of you have heard about it, or even like been to one of these events or sessions. Okay.
So is this an organization or an institution, Toastmasters?
It's not like institutional organization. It's like a chapter in a sense. Okay, so people can actually organize and have like a Toastmaster event, like a regular Toastmasters event. Okay.
So can we organize?
There's like a Toastmasters. The word Toastmasters, I think it may be like it's like a well-known word. Okay. So I don't think it's like an organization like that. I may be wrong, but definitely you can maybe take the permission and use organize the event. Sure. Your local chapter, I mean. Right? So if you're more interested on that, search for Toastmasters in your area. Okay? There's one very near to our college, actually. There's like an attic a restaurant there. Okay? Near Softwarica College, there's attic restaurant. And every other Thursday, they meet at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., I think. And you can meet people who want to practice on their public speaking. So it could be that there's a local Toastmasters chapter near your house. Okay, I've seen like so many of these actually. So definitely search for it if you're interested. Go there, practice on it, give feedback to other speakers, and maybe it will help you in becoming a better speaker. Okay, removing that presentation nerve. Okay, all right, definitely do that. Search for that. And another tip for you is don't fight the fear. Okay, that's a very important suggestion here. Rather, do anything that would help you become better. Okay. All right. And the last point here is, if you have this perfectionist attitude of having everything perfect, try to remove that. Okay, at least for your public speaking, because down the road it's destined that we will make some mistakes. Okay, so if you are fearful of making mistakes, then chances are that you won't be able to move ahead, or the path will be very difficult for you. Okay, so if you made a mistake, not a big deal. Move on, learn from it, move on. Okay, that's how you become a better speaker. All right, so these are some of the final tips here. So anybody has anything to say for that? for these, or anything else to share? So how many of you have actually heard about Toastmasters? Anybody? Or even been to one of the events?
I think nobody, sir. First time I heard this
Sir,
word, Toastmaster.
Okay.
sir,
So
while I was practicing
Toastmasters,
for,
what does that mean?
Okay, just one person at a time. Bibekanand?
sir, when I was practicing for TOEFL, my
Okay.
course teacher was had said that I have to go to Toastmaster and practice there. They also have said to go to the U.S. Embassy, and there we can find the Toastmaster too.
Okay. I'm not sure. I've not heard about the U.S. Embassy and that, but maybe it could be. But definitely there are like so many like local chapters of Toastmasters. Like it could be that in your area there's one local chapter. So definitely you can go there rather than I don't know U.S. Embassy and that, but definitely you can attend one of those events. Yeah, Toastmasters may sound a little fancy or funky for some of you guys, but it's basically a public speaking avenue for the people, by the people, in a sense. Okay? So that's what it is in a simple terms. If you are interested in
Yes,
practicing
sir.
your public speaking, just search for Toastmasters in your area. Right? Okay.
Or
Yes.
can you spell it? Like, is it bread ko toast or what?
Yeah, it's like a toast. Toast.
Normal toast, normal.
Yeah. And just don't separate the word. It's a one word, okay? Toast master. Master. And S, there's an S at the end. Toastmasters.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. There could be other organizations as well, similar to that. Or actually, if you're interested, you can open or organize like a public speaking, like a club at Softwarica as well, if you guys are interested in that. Okay. So definitely you guys can do that. I think I've heard about like a debate club, although I've not really seen any event at Softwarica I'm talking about. So definitely there could be like public speaking club where students who are interested in becoming better can attend those events organized by those clubs. Anybody else? Okay, so let's move on then. Okay, there's one more saying here. Anybody would like to read that?
According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death. Death is number two. Does that sound right? This means to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy. Javishian field.
Okay. All right, thank you. So eulogy is a speech given to at somebody's funeral, okay? Like a dead person. So if you want to say something good about that person, that term is called eulogy. So it's basically saying the fear of public speaking is the number one fear among people, okay? And the number two fear is death, all right? So how come that you are more worried about giving public speaking than dying, okay? It's kind of like a paradox there,
Sir,
right?
and number three.
What was that?
Number
I,
three fear. What is that?
I don't know. You'll have to search online for that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, it's just to give you some idea about why people are so fearful about public speaking. Okay, when we know that fear of death is we all fear of dying, right? But why do we fear public speaking so much? It's kind of like give you like a contrast that. Okay. All right, so here's some few like couple of videos here. I think I might have like few other videos on like body postures, like eye contact and so on. Or you can definitely search for those like how-to videos on YouTube as well. Okay, so okay, all right. So it's like 10:10 right now. So you guys want to do some activity now?
Yes, sir. Games, please.
What was that?
Let's play a game.
Okay, so I have planned like something, an activity, so you guys can but make it more civil, okay? Don't say anything inappropriate or anything like that. That would only make other person nervous, okay?
Okay,
Got it, guys?
sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, just hold on. So let's I think like let's take like a 2 minutes break. Okay. So if you have to maybe take a bathroom break, anything like that, just come up after like 2 minutes. So it's like 10, 11 now. Okay, so you guys are back now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me share one screen. Okay, so you all can see this word list, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're gonna practice this one model called Johari Window. Okay, it's something that you'll learn in your next course, Effective Communication Skills. Okay, so for today we're just gonna do the practical side of it. Okay, we're gonna use this tool to get to know each other better. Okay, you guys better. All right. So I'm gonna pick like one person, one student. Okay, and I'm gonna ask that student to basically, without saying anything out loud, okay, choose words that are either in this like a word list, okay, that basically they think these words represent them, okay, that particular person, okay, or if there's like other words like beside whatever's mentioned here, there could be other words, okay, if those words define that person, if they personally feel that those words define a him or her, then they can maybe write down those words like in like a piece of paper or anything, okay, but do record those words that basically represent themselves, okay. Now at the same time I'm going to ask you guys, the other students, okay, to choose the words that they personally feel now that the words that would represent that particular person that I picked. Okay, again, if you feel that there's like other words, besides whatever's mentioned in this word list that would define that person, then you can choose those words, mention those persons as well. However, you don't need to speak out loud these words. Then, okay, you guys gonna individually write the words down. Okay, that's what you're going to do. Then later on, we're going to use the Johari window tool to basically, it's like a game. Okay, so is that clear to everyone?
Got it, sir.
Okay,
No,
all right.
sir. Could
So,
you please repeat?
okay, so on the screen, you can see a whole bunch of words, right? Just like cooperative, friendly, careful, right? Was that Kiran?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have a whole bunch of words here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick one student. Okay, right now there's like 36 students. I'm gonna pick one student. Okay, so what I'm gonna ask that student is pick like few words or the words that they think those words represent him. So let's say I choose you. Okay, so you're gonna think which words would represent me. Okay, do you think if you feel like, okay, humble is a word that would represent me, then you will write down that word without saying anything. Okay, so otherwise and also like if there's like words besides whatever's mentioned here, you can choose those words as well. Okay, besides whatever's mentioned here. That's what you're gonna do. So now at the same time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask your friends to basically pick the words individually again. Okay, pick the words that they think that would represent you. Okay, so if they think you are very caring, okay, so they will be writing those words down. And also, if you guys feel like, okay, there's other words besides whatever's mentioned on the screen that would represent her, then you would write those down as well. Write those words down. Okay, is that clear now?
Yes, sir, I got
Okay.
this.
Okay, that's what you're gonna doing. You're gonna be doing for the first stage. Okay, this is stage
Excuse
one.
me, sir.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
if we say Kiran, we have to write about her.
Yeah. If I choose
How
Kiran,
should
then
I
you're gonna.
write?
Yes. She will be doing by herself as well. Okay. She'll be choosing the words for herself from her own
And we have
personal. Yes. And you guys will be doing. I'm gonna ask you guys also to basically discreetly choose words for her, not saying out loud. You guys will not be saying anything out loud. Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, Razana. Razana.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start with you. Okay. Okay,
Okay, sir.
it'll be fun. Okay, it won't be that difficult. Okay, so Razana, you'll be picking like words from the screen. Okay.
Okay.
Don't speak out loud. Don't say anything. Okay. Just if you have a
Okay,
piece
sir.
of paper, write those words down discreetly. Okay.
Okay,
Also,
sir.
if there's like a words beyond whatever's mentioned here, you can choose those words. You can write those words down that you feel would represent you personally. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So start doing that. So now your friends, all of them besides Rajana, what you can do is individually now. Okay, you're gonna pick words from the list, or if you feel you need other words besides what is mentioned, you're gonna list words that would define Rajana. Okay, so start doing that. Don't speak anything, any words out loud.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so take few minutes in doing that. So take one more minute.
Sir, why is such a pin drop silence? Nobody is speaking.
You guys is just writing down words for that.
So we
Uh,
already did.
okay, that's fine. Okay, so keep that
So writing for word, sir.
for words that represent
For Rajana.
Yeah, Razana.
Yes.
Only for Rajana, not us, sir.
Not
You
for
will
you.
take your name and then we will write about you.
So maybe next time I'll choose you. Okay, your friends will do that for you. For now, just do that for Razana. Okay. Okay, let me share that screen
Hey, we
again.
write down names for Rajana.
Yes. So let me share that screen again. Okay, so take a few, like a little bit more time for that. Okay, I think that should be enough. Okay, time. So Razana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me get the words one by one from you. Whatever you have chosen to represent that, you feel that those words represent you. Okay. So give me the words.
Friendly, honest, humble, caring, humorous, cooperative,
Hold on,
helpful,
hold on. You're going too fast. After humble, what?
caring,
Okay.
and humorous,
Okay.
cooperative, helpful, careful, and cheerful.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Okay. So one by one. Okay. Now, Razana, you can mute your mic now. Okay. So
Yes,
one by one, other students, whoever have thought about words for Razana, they can now take turn and mention words about the words that would represent Razana. Okay, just one at a time. Uh,
From the screen.
uh, Even like beyond the screen, like even if you have like other words that you think would represent her, you can choose that as well. So whatever you have mentioned in your note, you can tell me those words. Just one person at a time, though.
So humorous,
Okay.
sir. Humorous, friendly,
Okay.
cheerful,
Hold just a moment, okay?
and
Hold on just a
okay.
moment. Let me do.
Sir,
Hold on, just
only one word or more than one word we have to
more
choose?
any words like more than one words. Hold on just a moment,
And
okay?
honest.
Okay, just a moment. I'm trying to do something here while you are. Uh, so humorous. What was the other words from the from the first word?
Humorous,
Yes.
friendly,
Okay.
cheerful, and honest.
So did you like pick these words after Rajna said those words, or like before
No,
even?
sir.
Okay.
Before.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else? Like, you want to mention words that would represent Razana?
She is very
Sir,
cheerful and helpful too.
Hold on. Cheerful and
Helpful.
helpful. All right. Thank you.
She always
Anybody?
smiles.
Okay. Hold on just a moment. Okay. So she's always smiling. Anybody else?
appreciative, caring, and affectionate.
Hold on. Hold on. Uh,
Boo.
Rosana is blushing right now.
okay. That's fine. Can you repeat those words?
Yes,
Appreciative.
Affectionate.
Uh,
Affectionate and caring.
and caring. Okay. All right. So anybody else? Just those of you who want to share, okay? I assume like you guys have few words for Razana. So anybody else who have thought about words that would represent or signify or mean something like when you think about Razana, okay? Those words come to your mind. Anybody else? So maybe I'll pick like a maybe random person. Ria? Ria?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you maybe tell us like few words that would represent Razana?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, sure.
Helpful, working, cooperative, altruistic,
Hold on, slowly. Helpful, working.
cooperative,
Okay.
altruistic,
What was the word after cooperative?
altruistic.
Altruistic. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything
So,
else after altruistic?
yeah, she is cheerful and honest.
Okay, cheerful and honest. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else want to? Just one more person, okay? Then we're gonna play this game. Start. I mean, with the other round, other stays. Let me hear from Ayushman. Ayushman.
He's sleeping, sir.
Okay. What about Chandika? Okay, thank you, Ayushman. He actually sent the response via chat. Thank you. Honest, careful, and honest. I mean, humorous. Okay.
Sir, sir says
Yes.
cheerful, helpful.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the next stage of this activity. Okay. So I'll share a different screen now. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this screen. And let me move on to the next one. Okay, so can you guys see this screen with the four like a window pane or quadrant?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, somebody sent me a message. Okay. All right. Okay, so on your top left hand side, there's an open quadrant. Okay. So in this quadrant, the person that I picked, Razana. Okay. Razana and every other, like all of you guys, okay, would know those things about Razana, okay, including herself. Okay. So that would be the open quadrant. So on the top right hand side, there's a blind spot. Okay, so those are the things that Razna did not know about herself. Okay, but you guys, after interacting with her, after being friends with her, okay, you guys picked on those. You guys feel that okay, those are the qualities that Razna that would kind of like represent Razna. But initially, like before we started like with this activity, she had no idea about that. Okay, so that's a blind spot. Now on your bottom left hand side, there's a hidden spot there or a hidden quadrant. So in that quadrant would be information that Razana had like Razana knows about herself. Okay, but you guys did not know. You guys don't have any idea about that. That though that she is like that. Okay. All right. So on the hidden quadrant would be information that Razana knows about herself, but you guys don't know. Okay. On the open quadrant, you guys know about Razana, and Razana knows about herself as well. Okay. And on the blind spot, okay, these are the things that you guys have you guys know about Razana, but she doesn't know about herself. Okay, an unknown spot would be things that she doesn't know and you don't know as well about her. Okay, so the objective of Johari window is to enlarge the open quadrant as much as possible and to shrink the unknown quadrant as small as possible. Okay, so after you have, like, at the end of the day, after you have used this tool, the objective is to get to know the person being chosen as much as possible from the personal perspective as well as from the other person's perspective. So at the end of the round, what happens is that person, whoever the person was chosen, that person will have a good idea about himself or herself. Okay, as well as you guys, the other like participant, you guys will also have a good idea about who that person is, or things about her, things that would that she is. Okay, you get the idea, right? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share. Let me share another screen here. Okay, so there's like another, like, this is still the Johari window. Okay, so the objective of the game is to enlarge the open area or the open quadrant, okay, by sharing the information. Okay, so your friends would know more things about you, and basically you would know more things about yourself as well. Okay, so as a result, the unknown area about you would shrink smaller and smaller. Okay, so let me go back to the responses that I received from you guys. Okay, so let me share this one. So are you seeing the list of words that Razana and you guys gave? No?
No, sir.
Okay, so let me share that then. Now? You guys can
Yes,
see
sir.
it?
We can see that. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
sir, we can.
so on the top
Yes,
are
sir.
the
Yes,
words.
sir.
Okay, thank you. On the top are the words that Razana used for herself, like friendly, honest, humble, caring, humorous, cooperative, helpful, cheerful, and so on. Okay, and on the bottom, you guys actually picked a few of the words here. Some of the words were already picked by Razana. Okay, so if we use this, okay, then on the open quadrant would be everything, all these like words that has like 1 or 11 at the end. Okay, so those like friendly, honest, caring, humorous, cooperative, helpful, careful, cheerful, right? So those would be in the open quadrant initially. Okay, these are the things that Razana knew about herself, and you guys also have a good idea about her. Okay, you guys getting me? Following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So on your you guys saw the Johari window, right, with the 4 pane, right? So
Yeah.
what was that? Okay. So on your the bottom bottom left hand side, okay, was the hidden area in which there would be like things that Razana knew about herself, but you guys didn't know. Okay, so those with the words like in here, the word given by Razana, humble here. Okay, so humble was expressed by was the word given by Razana, but none of you guys actually gave that response to about her. Okay, so that would be the hidden area. So now using because after you have used this tool or you have done this activity, now the rest of you guys know that Razana is humble. Okay, so you have in a sense enlarged the open area to take over the hidden quadrant. Okay, so you have more idea about who Razana is. Okay, all right, so moving towards the top right hand side where there's a blind area. So blind area is the quadrant where there would be information about Razana that she did not know about herself, but others kind of like have a good idea after interacting with her and after being friends with her for a while. Okay, so those would be information on the bottom side here. When I mentioned others, and words like always, smiley, appreciative, affectionate, working, altruistic. Okay, so these are the words now Razana can know about herself. Okay, so Razana can realize, okay, my friends think that I am like this. So as a result, the open area now increases, right? You guys see that? Anybody, any feedback? So you guys see the open area enlarging, okay? Taking over the blind area and hidden area. So as a result, now you guys have a little more information about the person chosen. In this case, Razana, right? So
Yes, sir.
Razana,
Sir.
so what do you think? Like, what are like? Do you think the feedback given by your friend they are like helpful to you? Like
Yes,
it's
sir.
they say that you're always smiling. Is that
Yes, sir.
Yes,
okay?
sir. She have very pretty teeth.
She just proved it, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you're
Well, thank you,
altruistic,
everyone.
like I guess hardworking, they mean affectionate and appreciative. I think those are pretty good qualities in a person.
Yes,
Okay. So all
thank you,
right, so
everyone.
that's the all right. So that's the activity for today. I mean, do you guys want to do this again, like, or you want to like end this?
We can,
Let's
sir.
speak again, sir, about Bibson.
Who?
Bibson Babu's place,
Bibson,
sir.
Bibson.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So Bibson.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's. I'll choose you this time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So, all right. So Bibson, so take like maybe like a couple of minutes now. I'll
Yes, sir.
show you the word list again. Okay.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me share another one. Okay. So from the word list, pick few words. Don't go on and on. That would make it more complicated. Okay. Maybe choose like maybe 3 words. I think that would be simple. 3 words that would represent Bibson. Okay. If you feel there are other words besides these words, you can pick those as well.
Okay, sir.
Just 3 words is fine. Okay, we don't want to like go on and on.
Sir, done.
Okay, so that's fine.
Sir, what does frugal mean?
Frugal means very mindful about money. Conjus.
Conjus.
He's not that, sir.
I think Gibson is sourcing TikTok.
Yes, yes.
All right, so I think that's a good enough time, okay, to choose 3 words.
Yeah, yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
okay,
Oh, it's so fun.
Bibson,
Yes, sir.
you can choose more than 3 words. Okay, that was for the other your friends. So you can maybe choose a little more than 3 words. Okay,
No, sir.
so
Only 3 words.
So that would be not that fun. Okay, so choose like maybe a few more words from you, because
Okay, sir.
you are the active
Let me
participant.
exercise.
Okay, just write like a few more words.
Yes, sir. Done.
All right. So Bipson, let me get the words from you, kind of like slowly. Okay, one word at a time. All right.
Growing,
What was that?
growing.
What's that? Grow.
Wing.
GROWING,
Growing.
right?
GROWING.
WING.
I didn't get it. GRO.
WI.
Okay. Like, what do you mean by growing? Like, in terms of like your personality?
So in process of developing my personality into a good one.
Okay. All right. So next word.
Next word is sir cheerful.
Okay. Next word.
Mm, Forgiving.
Next word.
Sir caring.
Next word.
Humble, I guess. So
All right. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Next word.
that's it. So that's it.
That's it. Okay. Take one person at a time and mention 3 words. Okay. That you feel like would represent Bipson.
Sir is very
Bipson.
flexible.
All right. Anybody else?
Well, I'm giving you a compliment. Come on, appreciate me, man.
All right. Just a
Thank you.
word.
Thank you.
So he's
Um,
very emotional about his friends and he's funny, caring, and aggressive at the same time.
Hold on. Hold on. You mentioned too many words. Hold on. Funny, caring, what?
And aggressive at the same time.
Any other words?
And
Anybody
he's
else?
very emotional about his friends.
Okay. Anybody else?
is
Like,
very
let me
attentive in class.
Honest,
hold
helpful.
on. I can't write down if you speak at the same time. Attentive in class. Somebody said.
No,
Yes,
that's
sir.
true.
All right. Okay. And next
That's too
person.
much lies.
Okay.
So he
That's
speaks
from.
in very loud voice, but not more than me.
Sir, he is honest too.
Okay. Honest.
Extroverted
Anybody?
one, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Like,
Extrovert.
Vivekanand, can you contribute?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
He is friendly and extroverted, hard, and walking.
Okay. Um. Anybody else who has not spoken? Like, you can give some feedback to Bipson.
So
Anybody
you
who
can
has not given feedback. Like,
So stupid
what was that?
sometimes.
I didn't get it.
Stupid.
Stupid. Okay.
And forthright, yeah, forthright.
Anybody else? Safal, have you spoken?
Yes,
so
sir. I
yes.
Rihaz, do you have anything?
Sir,
box, Mantos.
humorous, caring, and extroverted.
Hold on, hold on. Humorous, caring, and extroverted. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Like, Uh, you guys seem to agree on like extroverted, friendly, right? A lot of you guys actually gave the same response. So who has not spoken? Like I see like so many students here.
So San,
Grishma, Grishma. Okay, Sagar said
Yes, sir.
talkative. Yes. Do you have any words for Vipson?
Friendly, cooperative, and helpful.
Okay, cooperative and helpful. Okay. All right, and I think like few of you students said talkative. Talkative and articulate.
Heartbroken.
Heartbroken. Okay.
Oh dear, shut up.
Humorous, caring, extroverted. Okay. All right. So let's stop at that. Okay. So let me share the screen now. Let me unshare this word list and share this thing. Okay. So okay. So you guys can see. Okay. So these words, right, for Bibson. Okay. So he thinks that he is like a growing into a like a good person.
Sir,
Okay.
spelling is wrong, sir. BIP.
P, is it P?
Yes, sir, not
Oh, okay.
BIP.
My apology. Okay. Uh, okay. So Bibson thinks that he is growing, cheerful, forgiving, caring, and also a humble person. Right? So, and others like you guys, whoever gave response to him for him, you guys thought that he was caring, flexible, funny, aggressive, and so on and so forth, right? So using this Johari window model tool, okay. So you guys both Bibson and you guys agreed on caring, okay, that he is a caring person, okay. So that was that's what would go in the open quadrant, right? So there's other things here that Bibson thinks about himself, like growing into a good person, cheerful, forgiving, and humble. So those things would be a new thing for the rest of you guys. Okay, so you guys know something about him now. Okay, so that he's a humble person. Okay, so and on the below on the bottom side would be what others think about Bibson that he had no idea before. Okay, so things like he was a flexible person, funny, extroverted person, friendly, and someone even said stupid. Okay, forthright. So these are the things that Bibson didn't know about himself before we started playing this game. So now he has a good idea about it, about these features. Okay, so as a result, you guys know a little more things about Bibson, and Bibson knows a little bit more things about himself as well. You get the idea, right? So that's what the activity is about. All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
So is that fun to you guys?
Very, very fun.
Yes, sir.
All right. So maybe we can do similar something, some other activity next time.
Sir,
Yes, sir. We are taking Riyadh Sake for next time, sir. I have a
No, no,
lot
no.
to
I
say,
mean,
sir.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody called for me.
like, did
Srizana.
we finish ice breaking program?
I mean, those things may not be applicable here in the online scenario situation. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
yeah. So we'll, you know, this is more like this. This could be, you know, we can maybe like come up with something that we can do online, right? Some other fun activity, right? So maybe you guys
Yes,
can
sir.
think about that as well. Like maybe like search for it. If you can find it, maybe we can do it next time, right?
Okay, sir.
Or I'll come up with something. All right.
Okay,
So that's that's pretty much what I have for you guys today.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you all. Okay. Have a good day and
Thank
stay
you,
safe.
sir.
All right. So until next time.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Sir.
Yes.
Goodbye, sir.
Very
Yes.
good, sir. Bye, sir.
Oh,
Bye. Bye.
okay. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, sir. Bye,
Bye,
sir.
sir. Bye,
Okay.
bye. Thank
Take
you,
care.
sir.
Take care, sir. You too.
Bye, bye, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys.
Attendance भयो कि नै
भएन भएन सौरभ भएन भिडियो बोलौँ न सबजना यार ओ रियाज भिडियो
अबे अनलाइन क्लास भइराख्यो यार
अनलाइन क्लास सकिसके कति न पढ्ने जायो फेरि अनलाइन क्लास भइरहेको आइस एकचोटि क्लासमा भर त बुढा
Sort of
अफै भयो